Welcome to season 2 of On the Spot. At On the Spot, we discuss the issues. Temple Run is a popular video game where the character keeps running until it collides with a large obstacle, falls into the water, or is captured by the monkey. Well, as of 2014, the game had been downloaded over 1 billion times. However, that's not the discussion. I'll be talking about the life-threatening and in many cases illegal journey embarked on by many Sierra Leoneans through dangerous routes like the desert or areas of armed conflict, all in a bid to go abroad in search of greener pastures. Well, a journey that is not only a race against time, but against death in itself, as seen in the Temple Run game from which it takes its name. First, take a look. My name is Stella and I'll be discussing the Temple Run journey of death as evident in the video you just saw. Well, in other words, we'll be discussing irregular migration. My guest, Jemilatu Sharif, is a 21-year-old returning migrant from Kuwait, where she worked as a maid for 1 year, 6 months without pay and under very harsh conditions. Well, she paid thousands of dollars to fraudulent agents to get to Kuwait. Thanks so much for joining me here, Jemilatu. How are you?
I'm fine.
First, take us through on your journey before leaving for Kuwait. What were you doing in town in Sierra Leone, and why did you decide to leave?
I was a former student of Richard Allen High School. I attended there since JSS 1. Then I sat my WAS examination, that was 2017. So because my parents could afford for me to go to university, I decided to take this journey to go to Kuwait. But they don't inform me that I'm going to Kuwait, because if I was being told that I'm going to Kuwait, I have no option than to live in Sierra Leone.
So who is the person who informed you?
By the name of Mr. Almami.
Okay, so just to get clarity, what were you informed?
He told me that I'm going to Germany to go and continue my studies.
So how do you first of all meet Mr. Almami?
He met me at home and asked me if I want to go and further my education to Europe. And I say yes. And then he asked me to give money, and I tried, because since that time my father have little money. Instead of him to support me to continue school, and then he said, okay, well, this money will help you to go to Europe so that you make more money and come back home.
So this person also spoke to your parents?
Yes.
And basically deceived both you and your
parents,
family?
Exactly.
All right, so how much did you pay this man in question?
It's about $4,000. I paid for passport and other thing, and then he deceived me that I'm going to Europe. At first, he took me here to go to Guinea. We went to Guinea.
By road?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to Guinea, I'm 3 days before ever going to Kuwait. But at first, when I entered the flight, I said, oh, I'm going to Europe to go and continue studies.
Okay, that's from Guinea. You got into the plane.
Yes.
Okay.
Not knowing that I'm going to Kuwait. So when we reached at Kuwait, started asking myself, what are we doing here? But I thought it fits that we are moving. I said, what am I doing here? And then I have one Arab man just told me, you came to Kuwait for work. I said, what? No. I'm going to Germany to go and continue studying. And then he started shouting, shut up. You are here to work. You are, I quote, Kadama, they mean slave. You are Kadama. I said, what is the meaning of this? And then he want to slap me. So I just keep quiet because I don't know anyone there.
And this Arab man you met, where did you meet him?
At the airport.
At the airport?
Yeah.
He came to pick you?
He came to pick me.
You went on this journey alone or with the man in question who
I
took you on
went
this
alone.
journey?
I went alone. At first, when he came and said, Jamina to Sheriff, and then I stand up, I started asking myself, am I the one? In fact, how will this man know me? And then he said, are you Jamila to Sheriff? I say, yes. Let's go. I said, yeah. You came here to work. You're Kadama. Let's go. What is the meaning of that?
So, when you went with him, what was life like for you in Kuwait?
When we went home at first, that was the first punishment I started to receive in Kuwait. He said, I am not going inside with my cloth. I said, why? He said, I need to change. I need to do everything before entering. I said, why? He said, because this is Arab color and you are black. So we don't have the same smell. I said, but we are all human beings. The only difference is the color. I said, if I said any word, he will give me a slap. So I just keep quiet. 2-3 days, he took me to one big house at Kuwait. But that place is very, very rich. I saw a lot of Sierra Leoneans and other nationalities there, not knowing that they are selling people to work. I asked again, what am I doing here? And unfortunately, I have one Sierra Leonean sister by me, and then she started to explain, give me that you are here for work. I said, no. Say, well, this is the journey. And then you will be here until they feel you return home. So one Arab woman came, give money to the agent. That's the agent that's living in Kuwait. He give money and then take me.
So basically, this woman bought you as a slave.
Yes.
To work for her and her family.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So I said, where am I going? She said, I just paid money for you, so let's go. You started walking to me. I said, wow. So I went there. But at first when I went, the house is very big. I asked, what am I doing here again? She said, I bought you to work for me. I have 6 children. You clean this house every morning. Take care of my children. You cook, you do everything for me. I started crying. No, I'm not here for this. I want to continue my education. She said, if I said any word, she will give me a slap. So I just keep quiet, started walking. After 1 week, I said, Madam, give me phone. I want to talk to my parents. She said, no, you are not here for phone. You are here for work. I said, wow. I said, even 1 minute for my parents to just say hi, hello. She said, no. She don't give me phone.
What was the working condition like?
I clean, I cook, I do all the necessary work in that house. I even wash a car. I worked for 3 months.
With this woman?
Yeah. By then, she gave me money to go and buy phone. I called my parents crying. And my mom said, you put us in worried. Why you don't call? I said, I don't have phone. She said, where are you? I said, I'm in Kuwait. And she started crying.
All right. Well, Jamila too, we'll come back and still continue this conversation. This is On The Spot. We'll be right back.
Domestic revenue mobilization is a key instrument for the government of Sierra Leone in reducing poverty, increasing financial independence, achieving middle-income status, and charting the path for new directions. From supporting the free quality education, good roads, healthcare, electricity, and more.
Domestic revenue mobilization is very critical when it comes to national development.
Through the Asikoda World, we have developed beautiful management tools. We have also developed systems in which it will bring transparency and help to the importer, to the broker.
iTax is a platform for all your domestic taxes. The electronic cash register system is the game changer.
Let's support government by paying our taxes. For more information, visit the nearest NRA office or log on to our website www.nra.gov.sl.
Welcome back. This is On the Spot, and I still have Jamilatu right here. Now, continuing with the conversation, what did you really go through, in terms of the treatment you got from those you worked with or worked for in Kuwait?
Oh, well, Kuwait, I can say Kuwait is not good for us. Because
for us being who?
Sierra Leoneans, because those people are heartless. I wake up 5 in the morning, started walking. I will walk till 1 at night. So I have only 4 hours to rest. Walking, take care of children. Even if I ask to talk to my family, they won't listen to me. So I started work. I worked for over 6 months.
With the same family?
Yes.
In total, how many families did you work for?
They have 6 children, mother and father.
Okay. But aside from this family you worked for, did they sell you to another family to work again for those people?
They didn't sell me, but they take me again to their family to work. Like they take me to my madam's mother. I will go to her mother and work again, to her sisters and work again without payment.
So during this period, did you have access to your passport?
No. Since the day I entered in Kuwait, they took it for me.
So what was your journey back to Sierra Leone like? How did you break free from this?
Because I worked with that lady 6 months and she didn't pay me anything. So I decided to go out. And one day I'm going out, saw one policeman come and ask me, "What are you doing here speaking English to the child?" I said, "I don't know anyone. All I want to go back to Sierra Leone." She said, "Okay, I will take you to my home." I said, "Okay." And then he took me. I started working for him again.
Police?
Yes.
Police?
Yes.
A man?
A man.
Okay.
I work, but he also has a family. He has over 14 children. I work without payment. I work again 6 months.
Under the same conditions like you worked before?
Yes.
Okay.
I work 6 months. And so I just decided I want to come home. Even if I don't come home with anything, but I want to come home. I went at street. And then one policeman again come and asked me. I said, "Just take me to Sierra Leone Embassy." And then he took me to Sierra Leone Embassy. They asked me, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I want to go home." Say the only condition, you will go and run the prison before ever you came back home. Say,
this
what?
is at the Sierra Leone Embassy?
Sierra Leone Embassy in Kuwait. They took me to the prison. I be there for 3 months with different nationality, including Sierra Leonean sisters in prison in Kuwait. I be there 3 months. After the 3 months, they come again. And Jamila to Sharif, I said, "Yes, come." But I thought it fits that after that time, I'm coming back home, or knowing that I'm going again to another prison. So I went to another prison for 2 weeks before ever they decide to take me home.
So it was the Sierra Leone Embassy that brought you back to Sierra Leone?
No. My madam, the first madam I've been started to working with, because when I do this fingerprint, they know everything but me.
And where you're staying?
Yes. Okay. So they call her, she come and buy me ticket after the 3 months.
Wow. Okay.
She come and buy me ticket, so they decide that I should come back home.
So coming back home, how has life been for you?
Well, life is not easy. Since I came back home, I'm frustrated. People around me started to mocking me, calling me a such of name. But with the help of advocacy network against illegal migration and Mr. Sheku Bangura, I say thanks be to God because life is easy for me now. Because when I came back, he helped me, he tried. I sat again my last examination, complete my subjects, and now I'm in university.
Congratulations. We wish you the very best. But before I let you go, have you or your family tried tracing the man who deceived you and your family to, embark on this journey?
Yes, we tried, but they said he's dead.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming to share your experience.
Welcome.
We wish you all the best. This is On the Spot. We still have more conversations like this, more stories to be shared, all on the spot. We'll be back. To continue the conversation, I have another guest with me, Almami Kago, who set out across the Sahara 3 years ago onto the Mediterranean Sea on his journey to Europe. Well, the journey ended up with 2 of his companions dead, and he at the Libyan detention camp, where he was eventually rescued by IOM. He is a current public relations officer of the Movement Against Irregular Movement organization.
When I see a Leonian, I beg the government because we too don't see now so Ibokuna this country also. I beg the government because we want to still in also and then also for the past 50 years. So they are letting left this embassy also. And we know how we feel when we say we are ambassador no they come, but as soon as he knows say Sierra Leone, I can immediately. So no say the man will value lives name. So they are beg the government. They are letting left this embassy. Let's stand in Libya also. If ambassador no there also no problem na this country also.
Well, welcome to the show, Almami.
Yeah, welcome, Stella.
First of all, why did you decide to undertake this journey?
First of all, I want to say there's a lack of employment for the youth. Then again, secondly, there's social media attraction. Seeing some of my friends who firstly undertake the journey succeeded. Some of them being in Germany, some of them being in different places in Europe, posting pictures. Some of them you see them just relaxing, posting pictures.
And you wanted the same life.
Yeah.
So how did you get in contact with the person who put you through this journey, who I would say probably smuggled you out of Sierra Leone?
No, what I can say, at 2015, during 2016, having some of my friends who are in Europe already, they sent me the contact of one Mohammed. Said Mohammed has a program. Within 2 weeks, you will be in Germany. So I contacted Mohammed.
What did Mohammed tell you? What story did he sell to you that kind of reinforced your desire and will to undertake this travel?
Actually, he never said we are going to Libya. He said we are going to Niger. We're taking flight from Niger direct to Germany. That's what exactly he told me. Okay. But unfortunately, the whole thing changed overnight.
Where and when did it change?
Okay, at first, I can say 45 of us left the shore of Sierra Leone with the aim of traveling to Germany. We used Guinea border to enter Mali, from Mali to Burkina Faso, from Burkina Faso to Niger, Niger to Agadez. And Agadez is the last village to enter the Sahara Desert. 45 of us entered the Sahara Desert. Only 20 of us survived the deadly desert. We have 12 females, 33 male. 8 female died in the Sahara Desert, so only remain 4. Then 17 male out of 33 lost their life. You know, the journey became more tougher. Everyone is trying for himself. So we split ourselves into different groups within the Sahara Desert. 3 of us formed our own group. We walked for over 50 miles. Yeah, we walked for over 50 miles until we arrived in a particular place where the Tuareg rebel captured us and treated us as slaves around the Timbuktu and the Kidali axis. We've been working as slaves for 6 months. We're working as a slave. At the Timbuktu and the Kidali axis. Our work is to clean their weapons, prepare food for them, and any other type of annoying jobs. Sometimes any little mistake you cause to them, they will not hesitate to hit you with the waist of a gun or either cut you with knife. This is an example of what they did to me. Yeah. We've been there for 6 months complete. What they did again is to trade us again as slaves by a nearby prison. They traded us for $600 each in front of us. They traded us. We've been in that particular prison. We met a Sierra Leonean guy. He said he had been there for 3 years without making any single call to his family member back home. So we've been there with him. He said this prison is one of the most dangerous prisons that sell people as slaves. So being in the prison, he said there are some traders who come and buy people again as slaves. So when they arrive, the slave traders arrive, they bought 15 Cameroonians, 4 Guineans, and 3 of us Sierra Leoneans. The 15 Guinean, they were placed in the boot of the van, whilst the Guinean, they were placed in the front two, whilst we the Sierra Leonean also placed in the front two of the van. With about estimate time of 3 hours, we decided to open the van and jumped out. We jumped out, only 3 of us jumped out. Unfortunately, one of my friends, he jumped out and hit his head on the rock while the blood was hosing on his head. So he's crying for us to help him, but as you can know, the desert is not favorable to help. So we decided to leave him there. When we go in, he started making like this. You know, we already know that he could not make it alive. So we decided to move again. We move like 20 miles away. We met some set of men. They decided to rescue us. They said we are going to Timiawe. And Timiawe is a village to enter Algeria. So we work as a street laborer for like 2 weeks. We raise some amount of money. We come to Borj. Borj is the first village in Algeria. We work again as a street laborer in Borj, just to raise some amount of money to go Adran. From Adran, we go Region. From Region, we go to Regular. Regular, we go to Dab. And Dab is the boundary between Algeria and Libya. We work again in Dab as a street laborer again. Before we raise some amount of money, finally we enter Libya. And Libya is the most dangerous part of it. We've been in Libya for over 6 months. Sometimes they will hire us to work for them. As you finish working, they decide again to trade you again as slaves. But some of those parts we managed to escape because at that time we are fluent in speaking Arabic. You know, So we decided one day that we want to decide to cross to Germany. You know, all of those time I'm saying or talking like this, you know, I never made any call back home to my family member just to know I'm still alive. You know, so they were boring, thinking that I'm not in the game.
So you decided to cross over to
Europe. Yeah. The only way to cross to Europe is only for you to use the Lampa boat, a balloon boat called Lampa. And that particular Lampa, that particular Lampa is supposed to carry 60 people. Well, they exceeded the amount to 160. Yeah. Your 1 foot will be in the water, the 1 foot will be in the Lampa boats. So at around 10 p.m. So they push us. We'll be in the sea for 11 hours. We've been in the sea until then the wave of the sea change. The boat, the Lampa got collapsed.
Before we continue, was this boat being guided by any professional?
No.
So you were just left to the wind.
Exactly.
To the wave.
They would just say, "You come and captain," without knowing anything.
So the boat capsized.
Yeah, the boat capsized. With that, when we are struggling, a medium flight come around us, dropping life jackets to us, dropping life jackets.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can swim a little bit. So at that moment again, they decide to call a rescue team, Libya rescue team. They rescued us until they carry us back to Libya. And until then, we arrive in Libya. Until then, we realize that only 40 of us survive. 160. Yeah, only 40 of us. Like 120 people drown, including my friend, you know, and including other Sierra Leoneans. You know, so like sometimes when I'm talking about those kind of things, it gets me feel like very emotional, you know.
So when you got to Libya, how was it for you and how did you get back to Sierra Leone?
They decided to send me to prison again. I've been in prison for 2 months. In prison, they will always feed us 1 loaf of bread. That the bread is cost, like here it will cost 500 leon. Only 1 loaf of bread per day. Only 1 loaf of bread. I've been in prison, in Ghanaian prison, one of the worstest prison in Libya. I've been there for 2 months complete.
What is life really in that prison? Because we've heard stories where people are being traded as slaves, people were being assaulted or are being assaulted. You know, there's organ trafficking where people are being cut up for their organs. All sorts of stories coming out from such.
Exactly.
Was that the same?
That's the same. It's just that sometimes I'm seeing myself as let me say as a guided person by God, just to see some of these things, you know. But
what's the one horrific experience you saw in front of you?
The one thing I saw in front of me is like there is a lady, a very beautiful lady. I think she's from Nigeria. You know what they did is they come with a lady in front of us. They decide to pull. They have those long dagger. They were like stretching the leg for them to have sex with him, but the lady is still refusing. They decide to just enter the nerve, you know, at his penis.
And she died.
Yeah, exactly.
On the spot.
On the spot.
In front of you.
In front of me.
In this camp or detention area, can you give an estimate of how many people were there?
More than 1,000.
And this all happened in front of over 1,000 people.
We are more than 1,000.
So how did you get rescued from this place?
Okay, at one point, they said they want to give amnesty some people because sometimes the government of Libya paying them huge amounts of money to these rebels. You know, see, they will decide, say, okay, we're not going to leave all of them, but we're going to leave few. At that time, let me say, I'm not completely as a human at that time. I've got sick, you know. So they saw me at the corner. They said, okay, I should be granted amnesty.
Because you were ill.
Exactly.
So if you weren't, you would have probably still been there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So IOM brought me back in a particular camp. We've been there like 1 month, 2 weeks. And so they decided to come with us at Tripoli. So we entered Tripoli. We've been in Tripoli. Then IUM said, if we want to go back home, I said,
IUM.
yes. Yeah. Said, if you want to go back
IUM
home.
brought you back.
Yeah, exactly. They do our TC. So they brought us back to Sierra Leone.
All right. Well, continue to stay with us, Almami. I know that you're back in Sierra Leone and you've joined an organization and you're really working, to see that a lot of people don't go through the same experience. But when we'll come back after the break, you share with us a little bit more about the work you're currently doing in Sierra Leone. This is On the Spot. We'll be right back.
Ntaye ndungule ndijane nganda bali ngana fano bali nga wuli ninkaita fodo se bonka nga kala ni fobunta ni mfula adasata karasabale la pride aka bitala nkaye kanata ayaja fulani be tata silana ta lonko to kakumbo wo hino dun tam fanana ata do mandi mbemu ngona ngabula force kenye sama nafati yara ni ngalo nun takel
mantelni mo jamal tata ni sula gambi woldol manna dol bi je hani bi le mol malo be min dalil jumala kono be min tole fa ko fem kala mota ila koto foy fatale foy mam fa e malon
inata Muhammadu Soro kari lulu nindi ngo bakadiyam mala be dami
kantulinga kodi na wulula le katara don toro na wulula le katara furu la fajam min ka futa ling ala mamman tabe li man futa ila wulula ba jola nyaadil lim man tabe nte futa ta fay hadje fininda ila wulula malwoni sabon lino wakan balita man futa imam murun nan fanan abala fa warta bakel
ngasa maseni boto tannin sai ngamen soto wulo kon koy ba murundila nan ko tenke ko nyanta pasole kile ba murundila hani den ko men bala taala dole bala fata ka dungal ngoti o loto wa fule nga paso kindiwe wuli mu wannin saba ngo wuli mu wannin sabo ki ay dame ya ko do be do mabulu kurtoni den ko na la paso ya bulandi na wonyale ya fatandi maja fotaweli ndiku men bakala
li fatata agades wala ka jaw ya beti agades li tata je li sasade e bukata lopitano e nyaka fureje wolto bungo kon ay tara lari o nyaka kuranto ja dimala ita hanyala kata lopitano pantu li tata lopitano ke be mutala.
All right, welcome back. We are still talking about irregular migration, but what I also call temple run. Quite horrific, as you have heard. For those of you just joining us, my guest is Almami. So Almami, you're back in Sierra Leone through the help of IUM. What are you doing now with the organization? Take us through on the organization and what you're doing.
When we come back at 2007, 21st November 2017, we decided to form an organization headed by Sheikh Bangura. He's our national chairman.
And not to cut you off, Sheikh Bangura also is a returning
migrant. He's a returning migrant. And now he's our chairman. This organization serves as a pathway for all migrants. We're seeking the welfare of all migrants. Then again, we serve as voice for the voiceless, for some of them who have been in the detention centers like Libya or Mauritania, Kuwait, Oman. We're shouting our voice for the government to hurt. Some of them are suffering there. Then again, we're doing voluntarily, we're doing sensitization to our colleagues youth not to embark on such training. But, as you know, we have not funded by anybody or any organization, so it's very hard for us, but again, we're trying our best. We're trying our best to raise awareness, then again, we have a particular person that do psychosocial counseling for some of these ladies, these ladies who have come back from Oman, from Kuwait, from Libya,
If I may ask, knowing what you know now, if we turn back the hands of time and you had the same opportunity to go probably take this journey, would you do it?
Well,
Given what you saw and what you experienced.
well, sometimes at first I decided back that I want to go back because of the stigmatization. You know, sometimes people look at me like, who's this guy? He's come back without coming with anything, you know. That's the key thing we're facing, stigmatization. Everywhere, every time, every minute, I've been stigmatized in our entire base. I quote someone
At some
said,
point in time, you wanted to go back.
Yeah, because I quote someone said, this is not failure. I said, why are you telling me I'm a failure? Because you don't go and can knock out nothing. So you're not failure, not to the kind of people you have for the talk with.
How about your family? Did they do the same?
Like I said, sometimes they do the same, because sometimes looking at things, you know, you have gone so far, then you are like the neighbor people who said, my friend, my child succeeded, you know, and at some point they look at you, you never succeeded, and come back. Sometimes you're facing stigmatization.
So as we round the conversation with you, for people who are watching now, there may be someone out there right now who is probably thinking about undertaking this journey. What would you honestly say to that person right now?
I can say, not all that glitters are gold in a nutshell. Let no social media attraction make you to lose your life. Despite the hardship in Sierra Leone, but we still enjoy sustainable peace. I've not been working as a street laborer in Sierra Leone, but I work as a street laborer in Algeria, in Libya, just for me to survive. And again, no one will only as hostage for modern day slavery in Sierra Leone. But there I was treated as a slave, you know, so those kind of things.
So let me ask, how much did you pay?
I paid $3,500.
What could you have done with that money that you did not do?
Well, at that time, is the issue of the day Temple 1. Temple 1 is the issue and is the song of the day. Because within 2 weeks, you just had Muhammad has gone to Europe. And you want the same thing for yourself. You know?
Well, thank you so much, Almami, for coming to share your story with us. And we're very happy that, you know, you've joined along with other people like yourself to raise more awareness on this crisis. Hopefully, we will definitely have you and the organization come on board at some point in time to let us know what's the success rate so far. This is On the Spot. As you've heard, IOM has been supporting them. So I think at this point we'll be bringing in someone from IOM to come tell us a little bit more about how they are helping to tackle this crisis. We'll be back.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Abu. I am calling for your rental tax payment.
Oh my goodness.
Hello? This is a call from the
Your colleague is on the other line. Can you just please hold?
You are a landlord or property agent? You don't hear about rental income tax? As property owner or agent where they collect rent, the law say you for pay tax and are you tax identification number where they call team you they use for pay am.
Yes, me fumble them. The law say without this tax identification number, you not go able to pay your tax. And if you not pay your tax, the law go bet you tranga one. Welcome, sir. Please sit.
Thank you.
We don't make them easy for you now. The law say, since you the collect rent we pass 7.2 million leons, you for come to NIA and pay your rental tax just after we your tenants don't pay you done.
So no more calls from everywhere, eh?
You go just get one SMS or one phone call. We go remind you, sir.
Thank you very much.
For no more, go to any NIA office near you or visit www.nia.gov.sl.
Remember, paying taxes is required by law.
Well, if you're just tuning in, we are discussing the Temple Run issue in Sierra Leone. Well, the International Organization for Migration, IOM, is the leading intergovernmental organization in the field of migration, working closely with government, intergovernmental and non-governmental partners to promote orderly and humane migration. Dr. James Bagonza is a migration health specialist and program manager at the International Organization for Migration. Dr. James has over 14 years of practical experience across several areas such as migration health, migration management, and many more. Welcome to the show, Dr. James. Thanks for joining me here.
Thank you for having me.
The issue of irregular migration it is a global issue, but it seems that the world can really not handle this issue. Why?
Well, okay, yes, migration actually has become really a global issue, really, and migration per se is supposed to be a good thing.
Yes.
I mean, most people, if you know how the Europe and America developed, there were so many
through migration, yes,
during the Industrial Revolution. So migration, largely, if done the right way and for the right reasons, really should be a good thing. But now, of course, of recent, we are seeing a surge of migration. Of course, from the list, a lot of countries in trying to find opportunities. So these are mainly young men and women who are running away either from poverty, from lack of opportunities, others conflict, for so many reasons. So in trying to find opportunities, to find a better living, yet provide for their families. So it is in the last 4 years, I should say, really, this has become a real issue. And also there, on the other hand, also that I think now some other countries are also trying to protect, their space, their countries, or so that people don't come to be seen as if they are encroaching on their opportunities. So basically, it is really a mixed problem and a bit complex with lots of context and challenges.
Well, a lot of horrific stories keep coming out, especially from those who embark on this temple run journey. And IOM, of course, as an organization really dealing with migration issues, how do you, from the point where the person decides, I'm going to undertake this journey, to the point where they are in a horrible situation, to the point where they come back to their home country, how do you get involved?
Okay, so first of all, I am really, our mandate really is to globally is to ensure orderly and safe migration, and that includes, of course, protection of migrants, ensure that their rights are not abused. But now that means that that calls for us to work with governments, state actors, and non-state actors in the area of migration management. So, and that includes, of course, to support governments to develop policies or guidelines and even better practices in terms of migration. So, and actually, so the issue of migrants embarking on the regular route and then coming back or getting stranded. So as I am actually, so this is part of migration management, whereby we're able to identify stranded migrants and accompanied migrants, or those who have failed to either secure asylum, and those who voluntarily want to come home, from the transit country or from where they are stuck. So as I am definitely, so this is part of our mandate to bring back migrants in an orderly, safe way.
Now, as part of bringing migrants back, there's a program that IOM rolled out, which is like an incentive to encourage these migrants to choose the option or opt to go back home, and that's providing either cash or kind sort of support to this migrant. Is it working?
Now, IOM, we do have an AVRR program, which is assisted voluntary return and reintegration. So what means is that IOM, because now we are globally placed, we have a global footprint. Mm-hmm. So we are in all these countries, Libya, Nigeria, Mali, and all other countries where people have been saying. So because of our global footprint, so we're able to identify stranded migrants and actually assist them to come back home. So what we do is that IOM offers you an in-kind support for you to sort of start a business so that you can start over again. Because many times when some of the migrants actually have gone, they have sold out everything, they have nothing to turn to, and leave alone even finding it very difficult to integrate back in the society, based on how society actually looks at them. So what we do is that we give them an in-kind support. So this is not actually cash. So basically we work with the migrant to tell us what activities or businesses they can get involved in, and those are the things we actually we support so that they can have some form of income and a living, and we hope that usually this can happen in a more sustainable way. Because if you look at some of the drivers really is that well, there are not many opportunities usually from the countries of origin. So the understanding is that if they had something to do or something to earn a living from, so that can really reduce.
And this is where government comes into play, providing that opportunity in terms of favorable policies, in terms of, whatever, the enabling environments for, people to thrive. So as it is now, given the situation in Sierra Leone, and the fact that a number of these people are known, why is it that we don't seem to be breaking this gangs, breaking this cartel that is actually smuggling these people out of Sierra Leone? Because a number of them are quite, unaware of the realities, and in many cases deceived on the journey that they're about to undertake.
Addressing irregular migration really requires all stakeholders, including governments, society, even parents, and even everyone who is really involved. So yes, of course, it is true that people are being smuggled out of the way, and that's why IOM actually works with the government of Sierra Leone. Of course, there is a task force which is which works against human trafficking. It works actually to curb human trafficking. Actually, there is a law in Sierra Leone. It is actually legislation against human trafficking. That was 2005. But of course, it
doesn't seem to be effective.
Yes, I think along the way it has been found to be, I think, not very weak. I mean, I think no one has ever been convicted, and generally there are many issues and challenges in trying to first of all to identify these people. Yeah, because human trafficking and smuggling, these are hidden crimes. These are clandestine, but yet there's a lot of money involved. So many times it's very difficult to really investigate. Even when we get actually victims of trafficking, and we hand them over to governments or to the Ministry of Social Welfare, whom we are working with, so they can actually take on and prosecute these cases. So sometimes the cases take long in court, and the victims lose interest. Sometimes the victims actually they are threatened by the traffickers, or they are bought off. So it's really sort of a complex environment really. But now, the government is doing is revising the law against human trafficking, so to make it stronger and effective. And also there's a lot of now awareness raising, I think, and at all levels. IOM, we also have programs towards awareness raising, and also the other thing we're doing is trying to tackle now the drivers. So instead of focusing on bringing migrants and giving them a living, so now we're into things like youth empowerment. I mean, trying to really empower the youth through vocational skilling or entrepreneurship support. So we actually deal with some of the
occurring issues. Right.
So we're really trying to also to tackle the problem from now, from back home. So what is it that IOM can do, or government can do, or stakeholders?
So with this approach now, from your data, from IOM's data, what does it say of Sierra Leone?
Oh well, Sierra Leone actually on average we have around 10,000 youth, from ages of 16 to 30 years old, who really embark on irregular migration, and about 25% of these actually cases of real of human trafficking. And also the other thing is that actually, and even those who go on a regular migration on Western Brown, actually the chances of making it out of Libya also have really gone down. Really, it's extremely difficult
to make it out of Libya.
Yes, to make it out of Libya. There are so many rebel groups, so many militia who have been picking them up and down, and.
Well, I'm going to hold you there. We're going to take a quick break. When we'll come back, we're just going to talk a little bit about Libya. We'll take a break. We'll be back. All right, welcome back. If you are just tuning in, you've missed quite a lot. We are talking about irregular migration, but on this episode, we call it the Temple Run. And Dr. James from IOM is here, just sharing with us a little bit on the, on the realities on the ground as an international organization working to really reduce irregular migration. Before we went on the break, we were talking about, the realities in Libya. How does IOM coordinates things, especially when it has to do with Libya? We've heard really horrific stories coming out from that place.
Yeah. Yes, it is very difficult and very horrific. Of course, you know that it's working in an environment like Libya. It's really extremely difficult. But as you said at the beginning, IOM really is an intergovernmental organization. So we've signed cooperative agreements with all those countries in North Africa. So basically, we work in close relationship with the government of Libya. So what we do, and also we do have offices. Of course, we do run some sort of camps where we usually, after negotiating out
the release
migrants,
wow,
okay, from their camps where they've been detained, and then from the prisons, and then we take them to our camps where we try to do as much as social support, protection, and reputation, as we try to prepare them to actually fly back to Sierra Leone. So the challenge which we face is that some of them, when they're released, they are weak, physically weak, tortured, have been kidnapped, they're beaten. Well, we see those who come back with broken legs, and some of them have lost their teeth, head injuries. So there are cases of rape, psychosocial trauma. So what we do is that we have really experts, mental health experts, doctors who look at all these issues, and then we do an assessment of each travel back home. But of course, as I said, this is voluntary return. We don't force things on migrants. We really respect their rights, and we try as much as possible to bring them back with dignity.
All right. Now, one of my earlier guests mentioned the fact that he came back but was considering returning because of the stigmatization and what was of him here in Sierra Leone. What's the success rate? How many of them do stay, or how many of them go back still on the journey to get to Europe or America?
I would say that maybe over 90% actually stay back and run their businesses. Definitely, yes. We usually see a few of them who really are not convinced that they failed and they want to try their luck. Again, people think that okay, this is also luck involved here. So maybe the other time I didn't make
Second time lucky.
So
Okay.
Again. But also it is true that actually that some of them have nothing to come to. I mean, some of them have caused the problems to their families, so they even are scared of going back. In fact, actually, we do have some of them who are hanging around Freetown. I mean, you can't go back to there. So also the way the community kind of perceives them or treats them also affects their really integration.
What's the new strategy that IOM Sierra Leone intends kind of taking to what actions that IOM intends to take in tackling this issue?
Yes. I think next year really our biggest strategy will be really awareness raising, really. Because I think one of the things which the youth are being deceived about is the conditions in Europe, social media, but actually they miss out on the realities. What is really the chance of making it to Europe is really very slim. And even if you made it to Europe, even the chance of getting a job and staying there is extremely slim. So what happened is that we want to create a national weight awareness raising, but this time we're using a different approach. Rather than the traditional way of maybe IOM or working with maybe other partners who already on TV, studies. So this time actually we're using migrants themselves to come and tell their story. Yeah, I mean, this strategy is dubbed as migrants as messengers. Because studies have shown that actually migrants or youth tend to believe their peers when they give their stories. Except now, if somebody really wants to embark on this journey, he's making an informed decision really. He knows, he has all the information and he knows all the variables, which are important.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. James, for joining me here to talk on this issue. I think that more people need to be informed and make the decision based on the right information if they need to undertake this sort of journey. Coming up next are my final words. Stay tuned.
In my final words, it is disheartening to see young people willing to risk their lives on the Temple Run journey, all in the name of crossing over to America or Europe for greener pastures. One of the major reasons cited for this, aside from the incidents of civil unrest, is high poverty and/or unemployment experienced by the victims. It is further surprising to see the ability of these young people to raise thousands of dollars to pay smugglers for this trip, money which can be well spent to start a potentially successful business. This misconception that the grass is greener on the other side and the guarantee of a better life in the West continues to deceive many to undertake this life-threatening journey. The failure to see the many opportunities in Sierra Leone and Africa as a whole, and the refusal of many to truly work their way to wealth, will continue to lead to a rise in the Temple Run journey. Therefore, African governments have a responsibility to ensure their country becomes a better option where dreams can be truly achieved and fulfilled. Aside from that, we all must be wary of the lies being told by smugglers, the lies of a trip to America or Europe. Be wary. Thank you so much for watching On The Spot. This has been quite an engaging, enlightening and informative session. Thank you to all my guests for coming in to share those stories that have come from the heart. For those of you watching, I would appreciate it if you can drop us a comment, share with us your experience and how this conversation has probably changed your life or perception about such a trip. You can also be a part of the conversation by dropping your comments on our Facebook page or head on to www.onthespotwithstella.com. Till we come back next week, continue to stay fabulous.